Annabelle, File 307, 7 Nights Under Surveillance, reconstructed from a diary, hallway CCTV footage, and the final audio recording. Warning: this is not a story you listen to for fun. If you're listening late at night, please don't look under your bed after you turn off the lights. Main characters: Ethan, 27, an air conditioning repairman recently moved into a cheap rental room. Mia, 25, Ethan's girlfriend. Mr. Collins, 63, the landlord, knows the secret of room 307. Dr. Ryan, 35, Ethan's friend, a psychologist, appears later. Lily, 7, the girl from an old case file, connected to room 307. Ethan has been missing for 36 hours. When the police forced open the door to room 307, they found him lying in the middle of the floor, eyes wide open, mouth hanging open as if he was screaming. But not a single sound came out. The most horrifying part was, around Ethan's neck, there was a deep red mark, like he'd been strangled with cloth. No weapon in the room, no signs of a struggle, only a phone under the bed, still recording. And in the very last second of that audio, a child's voice whispered directly into the microphone. "Now, it's your turn to listen." Part 1. Day 0. A room with no mirrors. Ethan rented a cheap room at the far end of the third-floor hallway. Room number 307. The moment he stepped inside, something made his skin crawl. There were no mirrors. No mirror in the bathroom, no mirror on the walls. Not even a reflective window. The glass was covered with a frosted film, like someone was afraid of what might reflect back. Mr. Collins, the landlord, handed him the key and warned him of exactly 3 rules. Do not bring a mirror into this room. Do not place a doll facing the bed. If you hear knocking at 307, never answer. Ethan scoffed. "Come on, I'm not a kid." Mr. Collins stared at him for a long time. Then he added, his voice rough like it was being dragged out of his throat. "Adults die in this room more than children do." Part 2. Day 1. The Annabelle doll. That afternoon, Mia came to visit. She brought a housewarming gift wrapped in old newspaper. Ethan opened it. Inside was a vintage cloth doll, pale white face, deep black eyes, red lips smeared like they'd been wiped with a dirty finger, and around its neck, a red cloth ribbon tied into a knot. Mia whispered, "They call it Annabelle." Ethan froze. That name hit him like a punch to the stomach. "Where did you buy this?" Mia shook her head. "I didn't, I swear. It was sitting outside my door this morning, with a note." She pulled out a small yellowed paper, a childlike scrawl. "Let me live with you." Ethan forced a laugh. Someone's messing with us. But then, he looked into the doll's eyes, and Ethan swore. It blinked. Just once. Barely noticeable, but enough for sweat to run down his spine. Part 3. Night 1. Annabelle doesn't stay where you put her. That night, Ethan placed the doll on a wooden shelf, facing the wall. Then he turned off the bedside lamp. Around 1:40 a.m., he woke up with the feeling that someone was standing right next to the bed. No heavy breathing, no talking. Just standing there, watching. Ethan opened his eyes. The room was dark, but he could still see the shelf. It was empty. The doll was gone. His throat went dry. His heart hammered like a fist against his ribs. Slowly, Ethan reached for the lamp and turned it on. The light snapped on, and Ethan nearly passed out. Annabelle was sitting on his chest. Not dropped, not fallen. Sitting upright, like a person. Its face was less than 8 inches from his. Ethan screamed and threw it off. The doll hit the floor with a dull thud. But right then, he heard a giggle. A child's giggle. Soft, breathy. Inside the room. Ethan looked around. Nobody. The door was locked. The window was sealed shut. He picked the doll up. Its hands were ice cold and wet, like it had just been dipped in water. Ethan looked at his own hand. A dark stain smeared across his skin. A metallic smell, like rust, like old blood. Part 4. Day 2. Footprints by the sink. The next morning, Ethan entered the bathroom. The tile floor was dry, but beside the sink, there were small, wet footprints. 5 tiny footprints. They started at the sink, walked toward the bedroom door, and stopped. As if a child had been standing there, waiting for Ethan to open it. He wiped them. They didn't fade. He scrubbed with soap. They didn't fade. The more he scrubbed, the more the prints seemed to sink into the tile. Ethan's panic finally broke through. He called his closest friend, Dr. Ryan. "Ryan, do you believe in ghosts?" Ryan laughed. "Stop scaring yourself. You're just sleep-deprived." Ethan turned on his phone camera and recorded the entire room. Nothing. No movement. No shadow. But when he watched the video back, there was something in the top right corner of the frame that paralyzed him. A small figure, pressed against the wall, head tilted, staring directly into the camera. It looked like the doll, but longer, thinner, like a child stretched out into something wrong. Ethan rewound the clip. That frame disappeared, but the moment it reached that part again, his phone speaker turned on by itself, and a whisper played. "Ethan." He threw the phone onto the bed. His head rang. Because no one in that video ever said his name. No one. Part 5. Day 3. The second note. On the third night, Mia returned. She stepped into the room, then stopped cold. Her face turned paper white. She pointed at the bed. Annabelle was sitting between the pillows, but Ethan remembered clearly. He had stuffed it inside the closet, locked the door, and even tied it shut with rope. Ethan rushed to the closet. The lock was still sealed. The rope was still perfectly intact. No sign of tampering. He turned back to the bed. Annabelle was still there. And at its feet was a new note. Childlike handwriting. "I'm hungry." Mia started crying. "Stop playing around, Ethan." Ethan swallowed hard. "I'm not." And then they heard it. Skirt! Skirt! Not from the closet, not from the door, from under the bed. A scratching sound, like fingernails scraping wood. Ethan lowered his head to look. The darkness under the bed was thick, but he saw something pale, slowly crawling out. A tiny hand, black, cracked nails, gripping the bed frame. Then a forearm, then a head, emerging from beneath the bed. Mia screamed. Ethan stumbled backward. That thing didn't look at Ethan. It looked at Annabelle, as if Annabelle was its mother, and it smiled. Its mouth opened too wide. Black liquid dripped from the corners of its lips. Part 6, Night 3, 3:07, Returns. Mia ran. Ethan locked the door, curled up trembling in the corner of the room. He tried calling Ryan again. No signal. The clock read 3:06. Then he heard knocking. Knock, knock, knock. Not from the wall, from inside the closet. Knock, knock, knock. Ethan's entire body shook. The clock flipped to 3:07. The closet door exploded open. Bang! A wave of freezing air poured out. Pure darkness. Ethan stared into the closet. His clothes were gone. His belongings were gone. There was only an endless black void, like a tunnel. And from deep inside it, a child's voice called out, "Play with me." Ethan screamed, "No!" The lights snapped on. Annabelle lay on the floor, but its head was twisted backward, 180 degrees. Its face stared at Ethan. Its lips curved into a smile, and inside its mouth wasn't cotton. It was a strand of human hair. Long, black, wet. Ethan backed away into the wall, and then he felt it. Something behind him, breathing, so softly, right against the back of his neck. A child whispered, "Don't turn around." Ethan sobbed, but instinct made him turn anyway. And in that second, he saw something he would never forget. A child's face, but with hollow eyes. Skin wrinkled like it had been soaked in water for days. A bruised red-purple mark around the neck. It leaned in close, opened its mouth, not to speak, but to breathe out a wave of cold so sharp it felt like death itself. Part 7, Day 4, The Truth About Lily. The next morning, Ethan ran downstairs to find Mr. Collins. He shouted, "You know what this is, don't you?" Mr. Collins trembled and pulled Ethan inside. He shut the door, poured water, but his hands shook so badly the water spilled over the table. Mr. Collins said, "Her name was Lily. She died 9 years ago, in room 307. Ethan asked, "How?" Mr. Collins swallowed. "Her parents said she hanged herself, but she was only 7. She couldn't have done it." Ethan felt ice crawl through his veins. Mr. Collins continued, "The night she died, the whole building heard a doll laughing. The next morning, the doll was found sitting on her chest. Ethan whispered. So Annabelle belonged to her? Mr. Collins shook his head, voice thick and broken. No. Annabelle is the cage. And what's inside that cage is not Lily. Part 8. Night 7. The Price of Escape. Ethan decided to leave. He shoved Annabelle into a trash bag, took it down to the dumpster, threw it as far as he could. Then he went back upstairs to pack. But when he stepped into the room, he stopped breathing. Annabelle was sitting in the middle of the bed, clean, perfect, like it had never been thrown away. In its hands was a new note. The handwriting was sharp, clean, not childlike anymore. It looked like an adult's writing. "You can't throw me away." Ethan panicked. He ran into the hallway. The hallway was pitch black. No people. Every door was shut, like the entire building had died. Ethan checked the time. 3:06. He banged on other doors, begging for help. Nobody opened. Then the clock turned. 3:07. Knock! 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 The knocking came from right behind him. But when Ethan spun around, there was no one. Only Annabelle, standing at the far end of the hallway. It was standing, without support, standing like something alive. And it began to walk toward him. Creak, creak. With every step, the hallway seemed to stretch longer and longer, into infinity. Ethan backed away, backed up to the stairwell, but the stairs were gone. Only a wall. He turned again, and Annabelle was right in front of him, its face inches from his. And it spoke in a voice that was no longer a child's voice. It was deep, hoarse, like multiple voices speaking at once. When you enter room 307, there are only 2 ways out. One is death. The other is to replace someone. Ethan screamed, and then the lights went out. Part 9. The Final Recording. Ethan's phone fell to the floor and kept recording. In the audio, you can hear Ethan's breathing, the knocking at 3:07, a child's laughter, and finally, a whisper, a little girl's voice. "Mom, I'm cold." Then another voice layered over it, deep and hissing. "Silence." After that, dragging sounds, like something being pulled across the floor, cloth tightening, and Ethan choking. He couldn't scream, only strained gasps. Then nothing. In the final second, a child giggled directly into the microphone, very close. "Thank you. Now I have a new friend." The police found Ethan, but Annabelle was gone. No one knew where it went. Until 3 days later. Mia received a package at her door. No sender, no address. Inside was a vintage cloth doll and a note, in childish handwriting, "Let me live with you." And below it, another line, not written like a child, but written in Ethan's handwriting. Shaking, smeared with tears. "Don't open the box."